You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, but more specifically Deontay Johnson, because he has leveled some accusations towards the NFL that one could say are pretty serious. I've said before, there's a real segment of NFL fans out there that believe the NFL is rigged, that the NFL is scripted. That's a real thing. That's one of the reasons why the NFL put out that commercial where they're all sitting around the table and all the actors and NFL players are sitting around the table and they're talking about scripting out the NFL season. That's the NFL's way of nodding back at the fans that think it's rigged. Now, I've said we know the NFL is far and away the most popular sport and gets the biggest ratings, but eventually something's going to put a chink in the armor. I've thought it is going to be a potential gambling scandal at some point. I think that's what might do it. Bad referees, whatever. But we got this Steelers player who's leveling some serious accusations, and he just comes right out and says, I think the refs were paid to ensure that the Jaguars won the game. This is pretty wild. He just comes out and says the NFL wanted the Jaguars to win. This is wild. Frustrated after Sunday's loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, Pittsburgh Steelers receiver Deontay Johnson, he's a damn good little player, accused the referees of deliberately tipping the game in the Jaguars' favor. Some people like Johnson believe the game was riddled with inconsistent calls from the refs. One user on Twitter even pointed out similar plays from both defenses that were officiated differently. Let's look at this. Let's just see said play, if it will load in. Anytime now, possibly. Here we go. Wait, the first one was a penalty? Okay, I've got to be real with you. I don't think either one of these calls, in my opinion, are penalty worthy at all. They look clean to me. But one got a penalty, the other one didn't. Now, I would just want to keep in mind, I do believe that a more veteran quarterback will get calls that younger quarterbacks won't get. Now, in this case, you've got Kenny Pickett, second-year quarterback, versus Trevor Lawrence, who was, the NFL propped him up as being the next big thing. And sometimes those quarterbacks, the ones they deem to be superstars, make no mistake, Patrick Mahomes gets calls that some rookie quarterback won't get, okay? That's been happening as long as I can remember watching football, and I started watching football probably 40 years ago. That's always happened. It has. Some people like Johnson believe the game was riddled with inconsistent calls from the refs. One user on Twitter even pointed out the similar plays. Due to plays like that, Johnson didn't hold back on his criticism of the officiating crew. Quote, they were killing us the whole game, Johnson said to the media in the locker room. Same refs we had in training camp. But at the end of the day, it's not on them. We can't keep complaining about the refs. Like Coach Tomlin said, we can't worry about the refs or whatever. No, but he did keep going, and it got serious. And I can tell you, Roger Goodell in the NFL is probably going to find the shit out of Deontay Johnson. Quote, but everybody's different. I didn't like the refs today. They must have gotten paid good today or something. That will probably be the one that gets him fined. That field goal, that hurt us coming into half. We needed that. We would have been tied. We would have gotten the ball right back then again. Probably would have scored. Who knows? That field goal hurt us. But when asked about specific calls, Johnson levied even more serious accusations. They were calling some stupid stuff, he continued. They should get fined for making terrible calls. That's how pissed I am because they cost us the game. I don't care what nobody says. They cost us the game. Yeah, I got to make plays. Those 2 plays, those 2 catches, but that doesn't define the whole game. Finally, Johnson went as far as claiming the refs wanted the Jaguars to win. Quote, man, they wanted them to win, he said. Everything was in their favor. They were getting every little call, but it is what it is. Like I said, I'm moving on from it. I'm ready for Thursday. Both the Steelers and the Jags had 6 penalties accepted against them Sunday, totaling 72 and 52 yards respectively. For his strong comments, Jackson, you got it, or Johnson, will likely get fined by the NFL. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's, like I said, that's going to be the one thing. I mean, we saw a flurry of penalties the other day, not this past Sunday with the Browns, but the Browns and Colts a couple of Sundays ago turned into a penalty fest towards the end of the game. And then you've got the strange unwritten ones, right? The Baker Mayfield Hail Mary against the Buffalo Bills last Thursday, and there was obvious pass interference on the Hail Mary. The NFL did not call it. Had they called it, and yes, it was pass interference, then the Bucs should have gotten not only a flag, but the ball right at the goal line with an untimed down to try to win the game. But there's this unwritten rule about throwing flags on Hail Marys. The only problem is, and a lot of people are starting to point this out, if the NFL is going to get in bed with gambling companies and they're going to push this gambling with these various, FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, all these places, and they're going to be affiliated with the NFL, then the point is they're going to have to start calling pass interference on things like Hail Marys because you've got massive amounts of money changing hands, and somebody is going to lose on a call like that, and they're going to file a lawsuit against the NFL. I shit you not, after they lose a massive amount of money on a game. Because they're going to be like, this is a rule in the rule book. You didn't follow it. And this is not no unwritten rule, none of that. It should be called. A rule is a rule is a rule. In other words, the exact same play midway through the third quarter from the same throw from Baker Mayfield into the end zone, had it not been the end of the game, mid-third quarter, Hail Mary, that happens. It gets called. The ball is down at the goal line. And you get another try. It was because it was the end of the game. We all know the refs tend to swallow their whistles during that kind of play, but the point is, they believe with gambling, that unwritten rule is going to have to go away. And it's going to have to start being called because of the massive amounts of money that are now publicly betted involving NFL-affiliated sponsors and such with these gambling companies. Again, I still think it's gambling, and I've got nothing against gambling, but I still think it's going to be some kind of scandal that eventually hurts the NFL and its popularity. A big scandal like that, okay? Because CTE didn't do crap. I mean, nobody gives a shit, but a gambling scandal where we find out a game got thrown by a player, a ref, whatever, that's what's going to hurt it. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.